Hey everyone, in this video we'll try to learn some AWS solution architect exam questions. Okay, so first question is this: a company collects data for temperature, humidity, and atmospheric pressure in cities across multiple continents. So this is one point, like multiple continents is one important point to remember. And after that, the average volume of data that company collects from each site daily is 500 GB. Each site has a high speed internet connection. This is another point. Then the company wants to aggregate the data from all these global sites as quickly as possible. This is another thing. So it has to be quick. In a single Amazon S3 bucket, the solution must be minimize operational complexity. So there are 4 points to deal with this question. So I mean, before jumping to the options, we need to understand 4 points. First one is multiple continents. That is availability zones. We have to think like, okay, multiple availability zones, and that is one thing. And after that, size of that each site is 500 GB. That means it has some huge size, and each site they clearly mentioned it has proper internet connection, and it's not offline. Okay. Then after that, this it has to be quick and minimum operational complexity. Okay. Based on this, there is one service that is known as S3 transfer acceleration. So it will do the things in a pretty fast way. And also multi-part is there. So it can directly upload site data to different destination, meaning S3 buckets. So option A is the right one. So we can check the solution also. So they clearly mention S3 transfer architecture. They clearly given the reason. It will work with long distance transfer and it has to be speed. So in the question they clearly mention it has a speed. And after that, office data to exchange and etc. etc. For these things, this would be the right option. Okay. So then next option, first option is the right one. So we're just checking other options also. S3 in the closest region and copy objects to destination, remove data. It is a multiple process are there. That's why this is not the right option. Snowball edge and storage, daily to transfer data from each site. Replication to copy objects. I think this is also another complex process. They mention like it's schedule. So I think they mention it's like in the question it has to be as quick as possible. If we do the scheduling, so it will follow a certain time, right? So I think this is not the right option. And upload data from each site to closest region, store the data, Amazon Blob Store, regular intervals EBC. So this has certain process from EC to instance. After that, you have to maintain EBS, and after that again EBS snapshot. Then I go to S3. So it's multiple steps are there. So I don't think this is a right way. So the best option is like so transferring S3 transfer acceleration on the destination S3 bucket. That is the right option. Based on options, we can eliminate. Next question. A company needs the ability to analyze the log files. Whenever we think about log file, we'll think like it is a cloud watch, but that is not the right option. Okay, we need to understand most other part also. The logs are stored in JSON format in a Amazon S3 bucket. Queries will be simple and will be run on demand. So this is another point and JSON format and it's on log files. Solution architect needs to perform the analysis within a minimal changes. Okay. So what are the already one architecture is there? You can't do any changes in the architecture. Like you can allow some do minute changes. What solution architect to meet with the least amount of operational overhead? So they clearly mentioned it has to be operational wise it has to be very less. So the correct answer is like Athena. Amazon Athena directly with Amazon S3 to run these queries as needed. So they mentioned clearly it has to be queries is simple and it has to be run on demand. So for this we can go ahead with this Amazon Athena. So that will directly sync with S3 bucket and to deal with the things. And Amazon Redshift and all those things will be complex process. And CloudWatch to store the log again run some SQL queries on the cloud. It is again complex process and AWS Glue this entirely for the Spark. So, but they mentioned it's like a normal simple queries are simple, so you don't need to worry about Spark. So the correct answer is this uh, Amazon Athena directly with S3. You can see this also. Amazon Athena is an interactive query service that make it easy to analyze data directly in the Amazon S3 using standard SQL. Mm. Okay. Then the next question is like a company uses AWS organizations to manage multiple AWS accounts for different departments. One company is there, it will uses AWS organization services, and it has multiple AWS accounts for different departments. The management account has an Amazon S3 bucket that contains project reports. The company wants to limit access to this S3 bucket to only users within the organization in AWS organization. So this is a real-time problem, real-time question. Like you have some your organization, you have some AWS services, and you want to give that services to only few people or in your team, only with your company access or something. So it shouldn't be redirected to other things. What you can do. So, and also they mentioned least amount of operation overload. So one of the best thing is like add the AWS principal organization ID, global condition key with the reference to the organization key. So in this way, what you can do, you have that global condition key that is reference to your particular organization key only. So in that way only your employees can access this. So we can see the solution also. Add AWS solution with a reference. Okay, simplify the specifying in a resource-based policy. The global key provides alternate listing all the account IDs for all in an organization instead of list the members of one can specify organization's ID. So organization ID so that it will instead of adding each person to the list. So instead of that, simply you can put some this condition, right? So within a least, in the question they mentioned, it has to be least amount of operation. If you're adding one particular individual, one particular employee ID all the time, it will be more operations, right? So, but with this step, what you can do, so whoever in your employ, like in your company, they can get that access. So that's a right way to do. Yeah. I mean, easiest way. So this is like an application runs on AWS EC2 instance in a VPC. This is one point like virtual private cloud. The application process logs that are stored in Amazon S3 bucket. The EC2 instance needs to access the S3 bucket without connecting to the internet. This is another point. They don't want to access the internet. Which solution will provide private network connectivity to Amazon S3? The answer is like create a gateway VPC endpoint to the S3 bucket. So gateway VPC doesn't require any internet. So that's a one thing. Let me check. Create a gateway VPC to the S3. Yeah. So with this, what they mentioned like gateway endpoint, you can access the S3 and without requiring any internet connectivity, and also it doesn't require any other cost because it's already there in your network only, right? So that's why. So next one is like a company is hosting a web application. Okay, you created one web application that you are hosting on AWS using a single EC2. Okay. Then that single Amazon EC2 instance that stores user uploaded documents in an EVS volume for better scalability and availability. The company duplicated the architecture. Okay, they created one once they want to host one web application on AWS using a single EC2 instance. And also the interesting thing is maybe it has the maybe not maybe definitely the web application has some functionality where user can upload documents. Okay, that documents will be stored in EBS. Okay, uh, Amazon EBS. And for better scalability and availability, so the company duplicated whatever architecture they have, they again duplicated and they created a second EC2 instance and EBS volume another availability zone. So this first instance is created in EBS in one availability zone and second EBS is in another availability zone, placing both behind an application load balancer. They also mentioned one load balancer. After completing the same, user reported that each time they refresh the website, they could see one subset of their or the other, but never all the documents. So what problem user is facing is they maintain EBS in one availability zone, another EBS in another availability zone. So whenever user upload documents, they're once they refresh, they're not seeing all the documents. They're seeing either one set or another set. They're not seeing all these things. What is the best thing? copy the data from both EBS to Amazon EFS and modify the applications to save new documents to Amazon EFS. I think option C is the right one. So let me check. Yeah, option C is the right one because copying the data from both EBS to EFS, modify the application to save the new documents to EFS. This is the right option because which involves copying the data to EFS and modifying the applications to use EFS for document storage. I think this is the best solution because all the documents at once in the duplicated architecture. EFS will provide scalability, availability, and shared access. So both these ECS can synchronize the document seamlessly. So otherwise, you don't need to worry about these EBS snapshots which cannot be shared in real time, right? So that's why this is the right option. I think we covered these 5 questions and we'll see other things in the next tutorials. Thank you.